that covers pretty much the disclaimer. Okay, and again, if you have any questions, obviously that I can't answer, and you need somebody from Rightline to get in touch with you, just put your name and number or your Skype username in the chat box or in the question box, and Rory will call you back to answer any questions that you've got. Okay, he's a pretty busy guy. Here's his number if you need to call him, and I'll show you that at the end of the webinar as well. All right, so this is just a graphic. It's called the SPY Super System Explained. This is the Thinkorswim platform with the Compass system or the SPY Super System on there. And what it does is it tracks institutional money flow. This is really a key to being a successful trader, is trading with the institutions, not trading a trade when they're not trading, and certainly don't trade against them. Okay, this is the text alert service for the SPY Super System or the Compass system. It comes out on your phone, and they're very quick. I'm on the text alert service. I know how fast they come. It takes me about 10 seconds to get my alert once I release it, so it comes in pretty quickly. Okay, if you've been in any of my webinars, this is something I cover every time, so bear with me if you've heard this a dozen times, but this is really important for people to understand. What we have to understand is what drives markets, what causes trends or lack of trends in markets. It's really important. The market is made up of retail traders such as myself, and most likely everybody here, and those us, these little marbles here. And it's important to understand that when retail traders are in the market without institutional involvement, these are the institutions, all you're getting is a lot of chop and a lot of chaos in the market. The market's not trending at all. You just can't make any money consistently when these are the people that are trading, because we can't drive the market. Now this is the institutions. This is what really pushes market trends when they decide they're gonna push some heavy money into trading. This is made up of investment banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, all the big investment banks. And investment banks have trading desks that have actually humans at them trading, but most of their trades come from algos, the computerized programs that they've got. They write programs, they call them algos, and those are what do the automatic trading for them, and that's where about 80% of the volume comes from algos from institutions. Now, institutions are also made up of pension funds. Pension funds are a big part of institutions because they have so many billions of dollars that they can trade. Thirdly, there would be hedge funds. I'm sure you know there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hedge funds with billions and billions of dollars to trade. They do the same thing as the institutions, and they're part of the institutional universe. And the last thing would be the mutual funds. Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, all the big mutual funds, again, billions of dollars. So this is where the money is. And our job as traders is to find out when there's enough institutional involvement in a trade. That's the key. I mean, there's always institutions trading, but you've got to find enough force coming from institutions that are moving the market, and that's when you want to identify a trade that you want to get into, either bullish or bearish. So that's what drives the market, and it's important for us to understand this, and that's what the SPY Super System does. It does a very, very good job of identifying when institutions are in trades and when they're not. All right, now in the room we have a couple of rules we trade by. These are going to seem pretty basic. First, we trade the best and skip the rest. And it really sounds simple. It's not that easy. You've got to find the best. But the hardest thing for people is to skip the rest. And this and the next rule I've got to trade by, both of those are directed to one thing, and that is to keep retail traders from overtrading. Overtrading is one of the biggest problems that most retail traders have. They'll get a couple of wins, and then they'll be sitting watching, waiting to make another trade, and a couple of hours goes by, and they're impatient, and they decide, I've got to make some more trades because I'm a trader. I'm going to sit in here and trade. So they go ahead and start to trade, and then they're not taking the best trades at this point. They're just taking some trade, something that looks good to them. So we trade the best and skip the rest. Try to get people to be patient and only take very best trades. The second thing is, it's important to understand our objective is not to make trades. Our objective is to make money. Remember that when you're thinking of taking a trade that's not a very good setup, but you're anxious to trade, you're thinking this could be okay. You're not taking the best. You're taking a trade because you want to trade. You're not taking a trade because you really want to make money. You think you want to make money, but you're basically being pushed into a trade because you've lost your patience. Okay, so the key here, again, is besides those rules, is to maintain discipline. Maintain discipline is very simple. It means when you have winning strategies that you know work, 80, 85, 88% of the time, maintain the discipline to trade those only. Don't be looking if the grass is always greener. You'll see posts on Twitter, you'll see posts everywhere, with people putting out these strategies that are telling you how great they are. You've got no proof that any of these things actually work consistently. So maintain discipline, know what the strategies are. We identify several of them in the room, and we tell you which ones they are, and those are what we trade. The second thing is remain patient. And again, these two things go together. Maintaining discipline is if you are looking for a specific setup on a trade, wait for the setup. Wait for the setup. Don't be chasing a stock as it stacks green candles. It's getting too far away from support. Don't be chasing it. Wait for it to come back and get to a support level and then bounce back into the trend again. That's remaining patient and then finding that particular methodology that you're going to use for that particular trade and wait for it to come to you. All right, so again, as profitable retail traders, we need an edge over other retail traders because that's who we're trading against. We're not trading against institutions. We're going to trade with the institutions. You're not going to beat the institutions, but we can take plenty of money from other retail traders who don't know the same information that we've got. All right, so our edges are we use the SPY Super System software. This is how we find whether institutions are in the trade or they're not. Another one here that a lot of retail traders don't understand and don't understand how effective this is trading relative strength and relative weakness. Now, this does not mean RSI. Relative strength, relative weakness means how is the stock that I'm considering trading, how is it trading relative to the SPY or the triple Qs, to the SPY or the NASDAQ? How is it trading to them? If I've got the SPY going sideways or drifting down, and I've got a stock that's moving up, all right, then that's relative strength, and vice versa. If you use this particular rule here, this is going to help you a lot. And then we want to trade with the market trend if there is one, and buy near support and sell near resistance. In other words, don't be chasing these stocks. This relative strength particular criteria, just to give you an example, I used this yesterday. Late in the day on Friday, I was looking for what's called a lottery trade. These are trades that we take late in the day, somewhere after 2:30 to 3 o'clock, that are very cheap to get the options, and I expect the stock to get through a strike price. A strike price would be, for example, slightly above the trade I'm in. Now, I very rarely take out of the money calls or out of the money puts, but I do them for lottery trades, just looking for a stock to get through a particular strike price before the day closes, because you can get it so cheaply. And the example I did here yesterday was the market was terribly bearish yesterday. That was down 700 points. Everything was falling off a cliff yesterday. And there was one particular stock I was watching during almost the whole day, EMGen. EMGen was moving up almost all day. It had tremendous relative strength to the market. Was just consistently very few pullbacks at all during the market. So I chose that for what's called a lottery trade. And that lottery trade was I took calls that were just slightly out of the money. They cost 49 cents, or $49 a contract. And I took them around 2:45, 3 o'clock. And I was looking for that stock to move up through my strike price. So I get it for $49 a contract. And about a half an hour later, I sold half of my contracts for $100 a contract. So that was a double. I took half the contracts off for $100. That locked in my profits. I couldn't lose money on the trade. And then I sold the other half at $200 a contract. So it went from $49 to $200 in about a half an hour. And that's a lottery trade. That was done by using relative strength and relative weakness. And it's a kind of an extreme example because that was a big gain. But that's what shows you what you can do with relative strength and relative weakness. So this one particular edge that we use is important to understand this. It really is. I don't really focus on this too much all the time. I just put it in here as one of the criteria, but this is really, really an important criteria for any trade that you're going to take. Again, trade with the market trend and then buy near support and sell right near resistance. All right, so the compass system, or the SPY super system as it's called now, what it does is it identifies the highest probability setups, while sidestepping setups that look good but will fail more often than they succeed. This is done by identifying when institutions are driving the move and when they're not. So we're only going to be trading with institutions. If a setup looks good and the institutions aren't driving it, I'm not interested in it. Now, the compass system, or the SPY super system, it analyzes fairly complex trading data and displays the results in an easily identifiable visual format that I'll be showing you plenty of these charts. And this goes on Thinkorswim. The money flow tracker, somebody had mentioned earlier, it goes on Ninja. It basically measures the same type of information, just displayed differently because Ninja, it shows it a little bit differently than Compass does on Thinkorswim. But the criteria are the same, and what you're looking for is the same. I just happen to like to do this because I trade options on stocks, and typically you don't want to be trading options on stocks using Ninja. You want to be just trading futures. All right, so again, it analyzes this data and displays it in easily identifiable format. In other words, it's going to be identified in colors. And this visual element makes it possible for even new traders to find these high probability trades. So this is the key to finding the setups that we need to trade. And how do we get an edge over retail traders? Well, we're only taking trades that are being driven by institutions. 99% of retail traders have no idea whether institutions are in the trade or not. We trade stocks that have relative strength and relative weakness versus the SPY or the Qs that I just mentioned. Very few retail traders understand this. They follow RSI, they follow MACD. They don't know that stocks with relative strength versus the SPY or the Qs are going to outperform almost most of the time. They're going to do much better. And if the stock starts to pull back, and you're in a stock that has relative strength, it's not going to pull back as fast as the market does because it's stronger than the market. So very important. And then we trade in the direction of the overall market. Really a big edge over other retail traders. And how does it give us an edge? Well, our trades are going to be supported by institutional buying and selling. The stocks will be outperforming the index, and they're going to be moving in the direction of the overall market. Okay. Chris, are there any prop trading firms that allow you to trade options? I don't know, Chris. I don't trade prop firms. I do not know what prop firms. I know there's a bunch of prop firms out there. I don't use prop firms. I trade my own money. But I know a lot of people are interested in trading prop firms. It's very important to understand the rules that prop firms follow. So just make sure you understand what the criteria is to get an account to be authorized, and then how to keep that account active. You know, they have fairly strict criteria for maintaining profitability. All right, so here we go. This is a basic probability trade setup funnel. This is basically a virtual funnel. This is the thought process I go through when I'm looking for a trade. Isn't it a Heiken Ashi lecture today? Yep, coming up and very briefly here, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time on Heiken Ashi as soon as I get through these trade setups that I'm using in the room. So that'll be coming up next. So I look at the daily chart first for any trade I'm going to take. I need to take a bullish daily chart if I'm going to go long, and a bearish daily chart if I'm going to go short. It starts right there. That's the first. If I'm interested in a stock, the first thing I do is look at the daily chart. I don't just look at the 5-minute. This is a big trap that a lot of retail traders get into. They look at the 5-minute chart. It looks good, and they take a trade, not realizing that they're taking a long trade in a stock that's bearish on a daily chart. That means that as soon as it reverses on them, they cannot stay in the trade. I trade with the market trend, if there is one, for the stock and the market. Sometimes there is no trend. And then I use the compass indicators, or the SPY super system indicators, to make sure institutions are in the trades. And if the institutions are in the trades, then that qualifies. And then I look at relative strength and relative weakness. And then I look at if we're near support or resistance. If all of these things are correct, it drops out, it becomes a prospect to make a trade. Do I use the scanner, John? Yeah, I have several scanners on the SPY super system on Thinkorswim, and I also use scanners on TC2000. I use TC2000 as a charting program. And I'll show you some of that. But I do have scanners in the Thinkorswim platform that is the SPY Super System. So again, here's the funnel method. This is just written out, just basically the highlight in green. Stock to be traded should have a daily and 5-minute chart aligned. The compass indicators of the SPY Super System indicators must align in the direction of the trade. If you're trading 5-minute candlesticks, by the way, one thing to understand is you should never trade a stock long if it's below the VWAP. The volume weighted average price is a indicator that goes on your chart that all institutions use. All institutions use this. So you want to be trading long only if it's above the VWAP and trading short only if it's below the VWAP. And have patience. I focus on this all the time. Have patience. And here's the strategies we use in the room. We do straight calls and puts. I use debit spreads using weekly options expiration. Over earnings, I do have something called a time spread. It's a type of calendar spread. It's a non-directional trade. This is just to capture volatility crush when the earnings come out. And then I have a weekly ATM strategy that is used for neutral to bullish stocks. We sell puts against the stock week after week after week while holding a longer term dated put to protect us to the downside. And I do credit spreads. And then we're going to spend some time on this today. This is a SPY Super System. This is a trade I do in the room. I don't alert on these. We can't even post them, but we call them out in the room. This is done on the SPY, the Qs, and the IWM. It's basically just trading the indexes off of a 5-minute chart using the SPY Super System software. Very, very successful. You get a lot more trades like this, but you've still got to be very, very careful about which ones you take. But it has a very good win rate, a very high win rate, and I'll show you the results on that as well. The alert service, just so you're familiar with it, it's designed to do day trades and short-term swing trades. We're not putting out investment information. This is for trades that we're going to be in for a day, 2 days, maybe a couple of weeks. But they're designed for day trades and short-term swing trades. They're designed for traders who can't watch the market all day, and they alert on the highest probability trade setups that we can find. Not all of the trades we take in the room are going to be alerted because some of them will be too quick. I might expect we're only going to be in the trade for half an hour or 45 minutes. Are they going to come too late? I can't. If I do a trade at 3:45, I can't really alert on it. It's not fair to the alert members not to have enough time to get into the trade. But you will get high probability trade setups in here. And the highest probability trade setups are done by identifying institutional involvement. I keep coming back to this. We're trading with the institutions. If the institutions aren't in the trade, we're not interested in it. And then I also look at market internals and I do some technical analysis. Market internals are, if you look at the total volume of stocks going up versus a minus the total volume on stocks going down, you get either a bullish or a bearish bias. That's called market internals. All right, this is a equity curve on the alert service. This is a little bit old now, March 23 to June 24th. The current one, it looked basically exactly the same. This is if you put $2,000 into each of the alert service trades during this time frame. Quite a bit of money. I mean, you'll see the results. I'm going to show you the results that we've had month after month. But this is typically what you're looking for. You're looking for an equity curve that goes from the bottom left up toward the top right. All right, now we're going to, somebody just asked about the Heiken Ashi. Ilan here, we're going to spend some time on Heiken Ashi candles here. Is there anybody here who's not heard of Heiken Ashi candles before? If you've not heard of them before, just give me a yes in the question box. If you are familiar with them, you don't have to do anything. All right, so most people have probably heard about these particular structure of candles. All right, it's an interesting thing. We're going to talk about using Heiken Ashi candles with the SPY Super System. It used to be called the compass. I need to change that to the SPY Super System. This is just kind of a chart that shows the structure of a Heiken Ashi candle. Heiken Ashi candles, as I'm going to tell you here in a minute, are made up of 2 candles. And there's bearish candles, bullish candles, and neutral candles. Chris, what time of day do I have the trading room? The trading room's open from, I start about 9:15 in the morning, so I'm there about 15 minutes before the open. We go over our positions. If we need to make some adjustments and maybe some of the sell prices on them. and then I'm there till the end of the day. I take lunch, for 45 minutes or an hour where I'm kind of watching the market, but I'm eating, so I'm not really talking. But I'm there all day long, market open to market close. What you've got with Heiken Ashi candles, these that have flat tops like this, these are bearish Heiken Ashi candles. See, no wick on them, no wick on them, no wick on them. They have tails, but no wick. So these are bearish Heiken Ashi candles. These green ones with the flat bottoms, these are bullish Heiken Ashi candles. These are Heiken Ashi candles that are bullish when the bottoms are flat like this. When you go from a trend down like this and you're trying to reverse, in other words, we're looking for what's called a Heiken Ashi reversal. Heiken Ashi reversal is if you've got bearish candles coming down, then you start getting wicks and tails on the candle. The color doesn't really matter, but if you start to get wicks and tails, then you get a flat bottom after you've had flat tops. This is a Heiken Ashi reversal. This is a bearish trend reversing to the bullish trend. Now it's important to understand that the candles themselves, when you reverse like this, since you had so many big red candles, you're looking for a little bit more strength in the reversal than these small candles. These are fairly small compared to this size of these. So like a trade like this, I might take, I might not take. And it still works because the Heiken Ashi reversal was here, and then you just stay in it until it reverses back again. But here's a really good Heiken Ashi reversal right here. We can see we're bearish with a flat top, bearish with a flat top, then we get wick and a tail. Then we get a flat bottom candle right here with a big green flat bottom candle. That is a really good Heiken Ashi reversal. This is what, if you were looking to go long this stock, maybe you like it long and you're waiting for it to pull back. This is the British pound Japanese yen, but it doesn't matter. The candlesticks are the same. This is where you would get into a Heiken Ashi reversal long, and then you would ride it up as long as you had maintained momentum. Flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom, a wick and a tail. So you watch now to see what happens. Another flat bottom. This is a continuation. That's a Heiken Ashi reversal. This is what we're looking to find to get into trades. Which platform? Toss. The platform is on Thinkorswim that I'm going to be looking at today, but the candlesticks are going to be on any platform. All right, so if you haven't used Heiken Ashi candles, and I'm just going to highlight some of the stuff. This is a post I did for Reddit quite a while back. I was an active member of Reddit, and I posted a lot of articles on strategies, etc. But I did one on Heiken Ashi candles, and you'll be able to read this when you get the copy of this webinar. But Heiken Ashi candles means average bar in Japanese. It basically looks at two candles. It smooths out the price action, so identifying the trends and reversal is clearer, as we just saw. It eliminates a lot of the noise that occur when you're looking at standard candles. And it allows you to stay in the trend stay in the trend longer, basically, than you would with all that noise. You're not going to get shaken out as quickly. Again, bullish Heiken Ashi candles have flat bottoms, and bearish Heiken Ashi candles have flat tops. Bullish trends will have flat bottomed Heiken Ashi candles one after the other, as I just showed, and bearish trends will have flat topped Heiken Ashi candles one after the other. All right, generally you can stay in the trend as long as those Heiken Ashi candles remain with flat tops for short or flat bottoms for long. How are the candles calculated, Marie? Well, again, there is a calculation for. I'm not going to go into the calculation, but there is a specific calculation for that. Do I use Heiken Ashi as provided by TOS? I do, Caesar. Yes. And I'll show you the Thinkorswim platform. I'll show you the live platform near the end, and I'll show you how you can just switch from regular candles to Heiken Ashi and then back again. Okay. Reversals in bullish trends will have flat bottomed Heiken Ashi candles, followed by smaller doji Heiken Ashi candles, and followed by flat topped bearish Heiken Ashi candles. That's how you would have a reversal in a bullish trend. In other words, you'd have flat bottom candles followed by some dojis, followed by a flat top candle. That's a bearish Heiken Ashi reversal. We talk about Heiken Ashi reversals. That's what we're talking about. And again, one of the things that when we have a valid Heiken Ashi reversal, the first thing that needs to be true is the Heiken Ashi candle height has to be at least as large, preferably larger than the prior candles that occurred prior to the reversal, like I showed you before. If you've got a bunch of red candles coming down with flat tops, you don't want to take a long on a couple of small green candles with flat bottoms. You just don't have the power that to reverse that on that. So you have to be very skeptical of that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that at that. The rest of that you can read if you want to when you get the webinar, but that's the key points. Again, Heiken Ashi candles evolved from Japanese candlesticks. They do combine open close data from the previous period with open high low close data from the current period, and you know there's a formula for it, and it does minimize the noise and does produce a clearer depiction of the prevailing trend. What do you handle gaps? Well, Heiken actually doesn't have any gaps on it, so you have to look at regular candles to identify the gaps, and it's obviously important to understand gaps. But if you're trading on a 5-minute chart, you're not going to have gaps. You're not getting gaps on 5-minute charts. You just get them on daily charts. Again, Heiken translates to average and Ashi to pace, so that's the average pace. And again, unlike traditional candles, Heiken actually doesn't follow the 1, 2, 3 candlestick reversal patterns. It's not, you don't treat them the same way as you do regular candles, as I just showed you how we look for reversals. And it does excel in identifying trends, potential reversals, and classical technical analysis patterns. Deepak, will there be a webinar? Yeah, a recording of this webinar? Yes, absolutely. It'll be emailed to everybody who signed up. Yep. All right. This is the advantages, and again, I'm just going to kind of skim through some of these. Long hollow Heiken Ashi candle indicates strong buying pressure over 2 periods. That's what you're looking at here. One of the things with Heiken Ashi candles, we call them confirmation candles. If the stock is breaking, let's say you're looking for a stock to break through resistance and head up, you need some sort of confirmation that breakout is not going to fail, that it's going to go up and keep going. Now, if you're looking at regular candles, it's a lot more difficult. When you get a breakthrough of resistance level with a Heiken Ashi candle, a flat bottom Heiken Ashi candle, the Heiken Ashi candle obviously is created by 2 candles. That tells you that you basically have the confirmation of the breakout. That's why they're so nice to use on breakouts and breakdowns, because it's giving you a confirmation that the breakout has occurred or the breakdown has occurred. And so you get many fewer failed breakouts. Okay, again, flat bottom candles in an uptrend signal a strong visual of the current trend. You can see the current trend here. This is pretty bullish. Look at all this flat bottoms on these candlesticks coming up here. So this is where you get that's where this reversal occurred. In the color change, yeah, you're typically going to have a color change most of the time. You know, when you change, green is going to be as bullish and red is bearish. But there are cases where you'll have a green or red candle with a wicks and tails on it that are not going to tell you anything. Again, a series of flat bottom candles in an uptrend signals a strong visual of the current trend. Bam, 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 bam. And look at the red here, red coming down. And again, confirm the Heiken Ashi candle height is at least as large, preferably larger than the preceding candles when you get this reversal. Okay. Okay. And this is just tips for using Heiken Ashi candles. This applies to any trade that you're going to take. Examine nearby support or resistance levels impacting potential gains. Don't get into a trade to go long if the 200-day moving average is 10 cents away, to the upside. You get too much resistance too close. Try to align with the market trend if you can. Choose a stock with relative strength and relative weakness. I can't emphasize this enough. The Bollinger Bands expanding is also can be used as a help. After entering the trade, now when you're thinking about getting out of a trade, switch back to regular candlesticks, because when you're trying to get out of a trade, if you're starting to lose momentum, you want to see the momentum being lost more quickly, and you're not going to see the momentum being lost because the Heiken Ashi candle is going to have to wait for 2 candles, and you can get out right closer to the high with using individual candles. So you switch to the standard candles for that. All right. So again, here's a recap of the advantages of Heiken Ashi candles, and I'm going to show you some charts with Heiken Ashi candles on them. Smooths out price action, reducing noise. Makes identifying trends much easier. This is the most important thing. It improves identifying confirmations of trends and trend reversals. Finding a Heiken reversal candle when you're looking to get into a trade that's breaking above some sort of support or resistance levels, this is a big, huge help. And again, it helps identify potential exit when the candle bodies shrink. All right, I got a couple of questions here. Are shadows the same as wicks? They're not. They're not. The shadows are not the same as wicks. On regular candles, this is an Uber chart, and these are regular candles on Uber. You see the wicks and tails. Here's a wick here. Here's some tails here. When you're looking at a standard candle that has a setup like this, in other words, the stock price shot up and then pull back hard, right, to create a doji here, right? This tells you when you're looking at standard candles that this could be bearish. This could be a bearish reversal. Sometimes they call it shooting stars because the stock went up and the sellers came in and they pounded it down. So that's kind of a bearish situation. That's not the same on Heiken candles. Here's Heiken candles. In Heiken candles, when you have on bullish candles like this, when you have wicks on the top, and on bearish candles, when you have tails on the bottom, those candles are actually stronger than to the upside. This is not a bearish wick. This is a bullish wick on Heiken candles. You see the Heiken candle here? See this reversal? Going from a flat top to a doji to a flat bottom. This is a Heiken reversal on Uber right here. That would be a buy, right? And here's the fat bottoms continue up, and this is where you would start to think about getting out. But wicks and tails on Heiken candles are not the same as wicks and tails on standard candlesticks. All right, so I'm going to look at some live charts for Heiken candles. This is from yesterday's trading. I'm going to switch over right now. I'm going to switch over to TC 2000, and then I'm going to show them to you on the SPY Super System. But I'm going to show them on here because it's a little bit easier for me to do because I can switch back and forth between the setups. So one of the stocks I had yesterday that I identified as a Heiken reversal is AXSM. This is a biotech company, right? Now this is standard candles here. I'm on standard candles. This is a Heiken candle for it right here. All right. So what you see here in AXSM, this is a daily chart. You see we had a pullback here. We had a Heiken reversal right here, right? And it came up and put in a flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom. And now it's moving sideways. This white line, by the way, is the 8 exponential moving average that I have on my daily chart on TC 2000. But see what we put in yesterday? See this flat bottom? That's a Heiken reversal for AXSM. So this I would be asking, I'd be looking at on Monday for a move to the upside. I would want to see it open green. Another question, not asking for comparison with normal candles, but you refer to the wicks on the Heiken candles, so what's a shadow then? Yeah, I call them wicks and tails. Some people use the word shadow for both wicks and tails. In other words, it has a shadow. It means it has a wick at the top or a tail on the bottom. I prefer to call them wicks and tails so that I understand when if I see a shadow, I want to know whether it's a wick or a tail because it makes a difference, especially on regular candles. Somebody tells me the candle has a shadow. Does that mean, is that an up candle, or up or a down? So I call them wicks and tails, Marie. All right, so that's AXSM. And this is the standard setup on AXSM. Here's the Heiken and AXSM. I got one on VRNA. This is another one. Yesterday was a very bearish market day, by the way. So you notice we've got some biotechs in here that were bullish. But here's a Heiken on VRNA. Let's look at the regular candlesticks on here. It's a very nice. This is a nice bullish trade, by the way. This is a very nice setup. Okay, this is moving up very, very beautifully. Right, just following this 8 up. So that was a nice setup. So I switch over to Heiken. This comes up as a Heiken reversal. See the wick in the tail? Goes to a flat bottom. So this is actually what would be considered a Heiken continuation because you're already in an uptrend, and then you get a wick in the tail and then a flat bottom. That's VRNA. And another one was NVS. This was NVS from yesterday. Again, this is a Heiken on NVS. See, we had a nice move up. And you notice when you get these flat bottom candles, you typically get a few in a row. So you're typically getting in at a decent level. And then we flattened out here, right around, and then we got another one yesterday. So again, on Monday, NVS would be a stock I would be looking at for potential long. Here's the regular chart on it. See it now? It looks much choppier on here than it does on the Heiken Ashi candlestick. And PDD was another one. There's your Heiken Ashi reversal on PDD. Chinese stocks were pretty strong yesterday. Deepak, can I show the ES and SPX charts? It may be relevant to trading 0DTE options SPX based on ES. Yeah, we're gonna, in fact, when I get into the Thinkorswim platform, I go back over that in just a minute. For the SPY Super System, you can trade anything on there. And a lot of people do trade the ES or the SPX and trade anything for the indexes is because the setups are going to be the same. And I'll show you that. But I did just want to show you some live trades here off of, this is off of TC2000. Again, PDD, and the other one I saw was TSN. This is Tyson. And if you look at Tyson, you can see this Heiken Ashi reversal to the downside here. See how beautifully that worked? Here's the Heiken Ashi reversal just starting to the upside again. That's the Heiken Ashi candles, and this is the regular candles. See that breakout above this purple line is the 200-day moving average. Nice breakout above there. All right, so those are long. I found a few shorts, and I'm going to go back and show them to you on the compass system because it's important to we're going to show something over there. But here's HBAN. This is a breakdown. That's a regular candlesticks. Here's the Heiken Ashi. See the reversal right there? See, you had a wick and a tail, flat top. Heiken Ashi reversal right there. All right, we had a Heiken Ashi reversal to the upside right here. Moved up pretty nicely. CF is another short from yesterday. Heiken Ashi candle right here. Wick and a tail, flat top. Looks nice. Look in the daily chart. Looks nice. Looks like a beautiful short setup. Illumina was another good one. Another nice short setup on Illumina. These are regular candles on Illumina. Look at how weak this is. And then it compressed right through here. So if I'm looking at that and I see the Heiken Ashi reversal, I see this is in a downtrend. It's kind of compressed now, and now I'm getting a continuation, a downtrend continuation on the flat top right there. Another one would be Target. Same thing. Target looks really good. We had Target in the room back in here. We took it short and made some money on that, and now it's starting to set up as another entry. And Caterpillar is the last one. Right, so there's Caterpillar, regular chart, Heiken Ashi chart, definitely breaking down to the short side on Caterpillar. All right, so I want to show you those on the platform here. I'm gonna. This is the compass system or the SPY Super System. This is the SPY Super System right now loaded on Thinkorswim. What are the two EMAs, Chris? The two EMAs I use on the daily chart are the 15 and the 8 for EMAs. 8 and 15. White one is 8, orange one is 15, and I use them in conjunction with each other because a lot of times when a stock will fall below the 8 exponential moving average, it'll fall to the 15 and then bounce. So I use those in conjunction when I'm getting in and getting out. All right, so this is the SPY Super System right here. This is TSN, the one we just looked at for a long. This is it on a daily chart on the compass of the SPY Super System. These are some of the scanners that are running. You can see here now what we have on the SPY Super System, which we haven't even covered yet. This is the long-term trend. This is the multi-time frame momentum. This is a key candlestick or a key indicator right here. Multi-time frame momentum, and this is current time frame momentum. If you're going long a stock, like TSN, for example, you want both of these to be either green or blue. Green or blue is critical. You see this blue here. This tells me that the institutions are in this thing multi-time frame and current time frame. And this is the actual oscillator right here that we use. We have an oscillator that has the divergence stripped out of it. It's just pure momentum. So this would be if I look at it on TSN on here, this is fine. This I would have no problem with taking as a long. If I switch over to the style, this is on Heiken Ashi right now. If I switch back to regular candlesticks, this is what it looks like. All right. So if I was looking on the Heiken Ashi, I would be fine with going long this one for TSN. All right. So this looks some of the other ones we looked at. We looked at Caterpillar short. What's that look like? It looks really good. See, I have red, red, red all the way down here. This is perfect. So when I'm getting these stocks of scanners, I've got to take a look at the SPY super system and see what the institutions are doing. It's obvious what the institutions are doing here. All right, they're selling. And again, let's see. I think I showed. Did I show target? Target short. Now see, here's where you get we have to start to question whether you want to take this trade. See, the trend is bearish. The multi time frame momentum of the daily is bearish, but the current time frame momentum just turned blue. All right, telling me that I'm getting a little bit of momentum buying coming back into this target stock. So I'm not going to take that Monday. I'm going to see if this thing is going to shift to yellow or red before I'm going to take this. So that's how this helps you. Even though the stock looked like a beautiful setup on the regular TC2000 when I was looking at it, on the regular one, when I bring it over here and I take a look at it on my SPY super system, now I see this is one that I'm going to put on my watch list, but I'm not going to take it. The other ones we just looked at looked really good. All right, let's take a look at alumina. Alumina looks great. Perfect short setup. Just beautiful, beautiful pattern to the downside and breaking down. So beautiful setup for a short on alumina. And CF, beautiful setup for short on CF, all red. Perfect for us to take this. All right, and this is, by the way, the 15 EMA in here. This is one of the levels you can use for support or resistance level on the daily chart to determine where you want to enter the trade. And HBN was the last one for the shorts. All right, there's short on HBN right there. Right? Is it good? Yes, it is. Yellow or red. Either yellow or red is fine. Multi-time frame momentum, current time frame momentum, trend is red. So we're fine. We're fine with that as well. All right, so let's just take a quick look on the SPY super system for the longs we looked at. AXSM, right there. These are Heiken candles. How's it look? Well, we got to be we got to be careful. See, it looks really good in here. Looks great. Trend looks good. Monthly time frame momentum looks good. I'm not going to take it until this thing turns to blue or green. Why is that a problem? Because this tells me that the institutional buying pressure on this thing on the current time frame, which is daily, is not as strong as I want it to be. You know, there's a little bit of waning. See how it did it here? You see how it went green, red, and you see what happened on that candle? When it pulled down, and then it goes right back to green again. So I'd be waiting for this to go to green or blue. So that's how I use this to determine whether I actually want to take the trade once I've identified them on swing trades. Is VRNA, that was one we looked at long, beautiful. Green across the board, breaking out, absolutely out of compression, perfect setup for a long right here on Verna. Again, we're looking for high probability trade sets, the highest probability trade setups we can find. Here's NVS. This just switches back and forth a couple times, but we got blue and green, that's fine. Both bullish. Looks really nice. It's breaking out. Another nice setup on NVS. PDD was the next to last one. We had PDD. There it is. Perfect. Green across the board. Institutions been buying this since right back here. Could have been taken if we found it, if we noticed it earlier, we could have taken it right back in here. And TSN, which I showed you. All right, nice breakout in TSN. So that's how I use the SPY super system to determine whether I want to take a trade long or not. This would be on a swing type basis. All right. So those are the ones we looked at from yesterday. Now one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna look at the results I've had in the room and in the alert service and show you how those work. And then we're gonna get into some actual trades that I took on the SPY super system, and then actual trades that we took with the regular swing type trades. All right, so you can see exactly how this is actually working. What's the difference between the candles? Can you explain it to me? The difference between, Omar, you're talking about the difference between Heiken candles and regular candles? Is that what you mean? Because we talked about Heiken candles are made up of two candles and they smooth out any kind of noise that's in there. Yeah, Heiken candles are created using two different candles, right? And we're going to show some charts here in just a little bit that are going to show Heiken candles that I've used, and I'll be able to point the difference out to you. But I just showed you regular candles and Heiken candles on TC2000 when we were looking at those. The difference is that a Heiken candle is made up of 2 candles. So when you get a flat bottom on a Heiken candle, that is a bullish confirmation or bullish reversal. You've got a confirmation that the actual breakout has occurred. That's why they're better than regular candles. Okay, so this is just to kind of go over the results we've had in the room. Again, we produced about 85% win rate, a little higher. Into 2023, using $2,000 per trade, and I just use this as an arbitrary number because I have to have something I can use as a baseline. The options room, if you followed all the trades, 2,000 in each trade, produced a little over 60,000 in profits. And that just says if you had 50,000 account, you'd be using 4% of your account in each trade. When you started at the end of the year, it'd be about 110,000. You'd only be using 2% of your account, a little less. That was 2023, 2024, 2,000 in each trade, 54.9, about 55,000, pretty close. You know, it's going to be pretty close every year if you're using 2,000 per trade, because our win rate stays fairly consistent and the profitability stays fairly consistent. Would I take a trade only on a reversal? No, not necessarily, Marie. I look for the reversals because reversals. The reason reversals are so nice is you're getting in early in the trend. Continuations also are good, but if I'm taking a trade, for example, off a 5-minute chart, let's say I'm doing an intraday trade, the perfect setup for me is if the stock price is coming up from below on a stock that's green for the day, it's pulled back, it's coming up from below the VWAP, it breaks through the VWAP on a Heiken candle reversal. In other words, it's gone from bearish Heiken to a bullish Heiken, and the price is breaking through the VWAP. I'm getting in right at the beginning of the trend. All right, that's the ideal one. But I'm still going to take them if it's not a reversal, if the setup is good. In other words, if the reversal occurred prior to going through the VWAP, but then it goes through the VWAP and I get a continuation, I'm going to take it there, even though the reversal has already occurred a candle or two before. Okay, so I'm just going to show some monthly results. This is monthly results in the room, and we'll talk a little bit about the alert service. The reason I'm showing you this is not to brag about how well this is done, but I want you to see what your expectation should be on the trades that we take as far as profitability is concerned. Don't think that there's any trading service out there or any trading methodology that's going to make you 100, 200, 300, 400% trade after trade consistently. You can't. It's not going to happen. The way you make consistent profits is to take really high probability trades, take well, I guess small to medium profits. These are pretty good. Basically, they're going to run anywhere from 10, this is 43, 37, 32. These are the kind of percentage gains you're going to see on the trades we take. Obviously, it depends on the market. It depends on the particular stock, but you notice they stay very consistent. We did have a 96% win in Boeing, and we took a loss in Gilead. We take losses just about. Only 1 month, I think, have I traded with no losses, but we take losses. I mean, we even had losing month every now and then, but so be aware of that. But this is typically what you're going to see for percentage wins and percentage gains. January, this is of 2024 with 20 wins, 2 losses, a 90% win rate, netted 75.05 in the room. In February, I switched out to room and alerts. February, this was our best month last year. We had, you can see 40%, 25%, 57% loss on this time spread. But this is fairly typical of what you see. But this was a really good month because last February was a strong market month. It was a nice trend. 24 wins and 2 losses, 92% win rate, 11,745. That was our best win of the year for a month, 2,000 per trade. The alerted trades that month, we put out 20 wins and 2 losses. 2,000 invested in the alerts, produced 69.30 in profit. Just so you can see what the results are. And I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I don't. Again, it's not to brag about the results. I want you to be aware of what to expect. You know, I don't want people thinking that you should be getting 400% wins. This was May, pretty nice profits here. 49.79 on the alerts, 57.36 on the room. And we did quite a few time spreads in May. They were fairly conducive. May was conducive because there was a lot of earnings, and the earnings trades were pretty good. June, 25 and 4, 75, 90. Made more money in the alert service in June than we did in the room. Only did 15 trades, 14 wins, 1 loss. This is pretty unusual to have that higher win rate, but 92 is pretty good. Here's your July numbers. You can see 22 and 4, 85% win rate. Only 75% win rate in the room, on the alerts, 12 and 4. But of course, you add the two together here, you got 12 and 4, and you got 14 and 1. So that comes out pretty high. But again, still made $3,300. August, same kind of thing. So again, I don't want to berate this, to beat this thing to death, but this is typically what you look. You can see we runs usually from 2,000 or 3,000 in the room up to like that 9,000 or 10,000, usually somewhere in that range. Alerts 2462, only nine trades in August in the room. August is a very difficult month to trade because of the holidays, not the holidays, but the August vacations. A lot of the hedge fund guys are out. If I enter long in a daily chart, on what time frame do I exit? On an HA or regular? What I do, that's a really good question, Anthony. When I get into a trade on the daily chart, then I'm going to be using the daily chart to decide whether I want to stay in the trade each day. Right? I'm going to stay in the trade as long as that daily chart stays bullish. As long as it doesn't break through the support levels, I'm going to stay in that trade. Now, once I decide, okay, I want to take profits today on this trade, all right, for whatever reason, it's getting up pretty high, I think I'm getting close to resistance levels, then I'll go to a 5-minute chart and I'll try to get out at somewhere near the highest that I can on that day. I'll switch over to the 5-minute chart, but I don't do that on a chart, a trade that I'm going to exit until I'm assured that I'm actually going to exit that trade, either to take a loss or to take a gain. Otherwise, I'm just looking at the trade on the daily chart, and I only look at it usually later in the afternoon. I'm not looking at my P&L. I'm just looking at the technicals on the daily chart. And I highly suggest you don't look at your P&L when you're trading. You just look at the technical setups. How far out are my options? A week, no. My typical options trade, it depends on when earnings are going to be, Delbert, but typically when I'm going to take a trade, even if I'm going to take a trade that I think I may get out of today, all right, and let's say it's Tuesday, I'm not going to take options for this Friday. I'm going to go out at least probably 2 to 3 weeks at least, even on what I think is going to be a short-term trade, because I don't want, if I decide I want to stay in the trade, I don't want to be impacted too much by time decay. So I'm going to go out 2 to 3 weeks minimum on anyone that I take. If I'm thinking it's a swing trade, I'm probably going to go out 4 to 6 weeks on those, and I'm going to be taking deltas of around 65 to 70. Deltas, they're always in the money, except for that lottery trade that I talked about. These things are always in the money. All right, so there's our August trades. Here's September. This was a losing month we had this year, and I wanted to highlight that. Again, I try to be transparent on this. We had 8 wins and 5 losses in September. It was a terrible trading month for me. 62% win rate. Now this is probably the lowest win rate, lowest win rate I've had in 3 years or 4 years or so. But only lost 1786, which isn't terrible. And the alert service, 8 wins and 4 losses, 66% win rate, down 295. So it's important to understand that you can get losing months. There's not going to be a lot, but there's going to be, like I said, I've had three, maybe 4 in the last 3 years in 2 months. Here's the October trades. Pretty good month, bounced back up. Now the room went to 74.48. Alert service went up to 6,063. So October was a good month, and November was a good month as well. 78.03 in the alerts, more in the alerts than in the room, but not a lot of trades. Notice that the market's been really crappy, and the number of trades has dropped off quite a bit. Chris, if I keep getting setups during the day, do you keep taking trades, or do you stop when you hit a profit target for the day? I do not stop. I don't have any profit targets for the day, for the week, for the month. I just trade what's there. I'm going to trade. If I'm getting setups, like I'm taking SPY Super System trades on the indexes, some days I'm going to, and you're going to see the SPY Super System trades in just a minute. Some days I'm going to be taking 0. Some days I'm going to take 6 or 7 if the setups are there. Absolutely, I will take that. And I do not, I'm $500, I quit. No, I don't. I don't understand. I guess the logic behind you don't want to lose any money. You know, you could set a stop loss for yourself, I suppose. I don't do that. But to me, it's like if you own a store and you're having a great day doing business, people are lined up out the front door coming in to buy product from you, and you're making a lot of money, and you say, okay, I'm going to make $2,000 today. Comes $2,000 of profit, you lock the door. No more customers coming in. I don't want any more customers in today. I hit my profit target. I just don't think it makes any sense at all. I do teach options, John. Yep. In fact, I do one of the webinars I do a basic options training. If you remember the alert service in the room, or you buy the software, the SPY Super System software, you'll get videos. I got 30 videos. I have one on basic options. I have one on Heiken Ashi candles. I have one on using the compass indicators to find the best trades. I have one on all of the strategies we use. My exiting swing trades on 5-minute chart or a Heiken Ashi or a butterfly. No, I'm exiting swing trades. When I exit the trade, I'm using 5-minute. I'm going to use the 5-minute candlesticks when I decide I'm going to get out of the trade, and I'm not going to use the Heiken Ashi candles to exit. I'm going to use Heiken Ashi candles to enter on a daily for a swing or on a 5-minute for intraday trade. So I'm only using Heiken Ashi to get into the trade. I'm not using it to get out. If you're in a trade and the daily Heiken Ashi has a flat bottom, do I still need to look at a regular candle to decide about staying in the trade? Only if you're near your profit target and you're thinking about exiting the trade. If the daily Heiken Ashi candle is still bullish and you don't really have any intention of getting out of the trade yet, you could switch to regular candles. I mean, you don't have to be, once you're in the trade, you don't have to keep Heiken Ashi on there. But if you do, and you see the daily chart still has a flat bottom for that day, and you're not approaching what you think is going to be your profit target or the resistance level on the daily chart, then you can just keep it on there. It's like I said, I only use the 5-minute chart on swing trades when I'm thinking about when I'm going to get out of a trade. I may be approaching my profit target. I may be approaching a resistance level on the daily chart. That's when I would switch to that. Okay, hope that helps, Peter. All right, so on the alert service, this is what you're going to get for the alerts that come to you. You're going to get, obviously, you're going to get your stock symbol. You're going to get your option strike price, the option expiration date, and how much to pay for the option. Now you get an alert to open the trade, and then you get at least one to exit the trade. But I may put an exit price in there, and I may change it to a higher or lower price depending on what the price action is. A lot of times in the morning, if I'm getting I'm in a long and I've got a price target in there to exit, and the stock gaps up, I'm going to change it and try to take advantage of that gap up to put in more profit. So you get another alert on that. All right, and when you get the alert, by the way, for your exit, set it up in your platform as good till canceled, so that if you're not on the platform in the morning, that order will be working. All right, so that's important. All right, again, how do we achieve these stunning results? And this is what the SPY Super System software does for us. We're able to identify when institutions are driving a trade and when the market internals are heavily bullish or bearish. Those two things are important. Now, it says here I only take trades when they're both in our favor. That's not true. I'll take a trade if the institutions are driving the trade and the market internals are at least neutral. I won't take them if they're bearish, but I will take them if it's neutral with the institutions in there. Okay, and again, how do we find this thing? Where are those indicators coming from? The multi-time frame momentum that I showed you, current time frame. It's using what's called triple screen assessment, or some people call it fractals. It's looking across multiple time frames for momentum, and this is really important to understand because momentum is misunderstood by a lot of people. In general, Caesar, do I place mental or physical stops for option trades? All mental stops. Yeah, I'll put a sell order in with a target and leave it there. That's what I do automatically. As far as stop losses, I do not put automatic stop losses on. Too easy for the market makers to push the stock down because they can see the stops. They can see what people have in for stops on these things, and they can push it down and break through there for a few pennies, take you out, and then bounce the stock right back up again. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but It does. Do we operate with you every day from the market opens until it closes? Do you give us live entries and exits on the trades, or how does the alert system work? Well, in the room, Omar, I'm talking to people. We've got people in there all day long, right? We also have a Discord room. We have 2 other professional traders in there. So I'm talking about trades that I'm liking. I'll tell you that when I'm going to take a trade, I post it in the room. And if it's going to be an alerted trade, I send out an alert on it. I post it. I put the date. I put what the stock is, what the strike price is, what the expiration date is, and how much to pay for it. But people are asking me all day long, because I don't take every trade people in the room mention, because people find a lot of good trades. I can't take everything, but I will look at the charts, both on the SPY Super System and on the TC2000, and tell them whether that stock, whether it's something to trade, and then they'll even ask me what option should I take, and I'll look it up and tell them. I try to educate them. If they give me a stock and I say, this is why this is not a good trade, and I'll show you the charts, I'll show them the SPY Super System and say, I wouldn't take this because its resistance is too close. The daily chart is just too messy, it's choppy. We go into a lot of detail like that. Which period for triple screen assessment? The triple screen assessment on the 5-minute chart is 5, 15, and 45. And on the daily chart, it's 1, 3, and 9 days. It's looking across that. But it's important to understand what momentum is. A lot of people think if you're just getting green candles, that's momentum to the upside. But that's not true. Momentum is the way we look at momentum. We look at a candlestick, we look at where the close of that candlestick, of that price is, and how close it is to the high of that candlestick. And as the candlesticks progress, if the high of the close of that candle is getting closer and closer and closer to the high of that candle, then that is momentum. Now the price may not even be moving up much. You could be getting candlesticks that are moving sideways, but the high, the close of the candle is getting a little bit higher, closer to the high of that candle, even though the price hasn't moved very much. So you can get momentum that the stock is actually kind of moving sideways, but you can still have momentum in it, and that usually will indicate that there's going to be a push to the upside pretty soon. Okay, so this is again, we looked at some charts, or live charts, but here's the SPY Super System right here. This was a Tesla trade using Heiken Ashi reversal candles. This shows you what I looked at to find a Heiken Ashi reversal and where I took the trade. And I took the trade. This is the 15 EMA right here. This is one of my support levels on the 5-minute chart. This was the compass system, or the SPY Super System, puts this little red arrow in here for a compression break. So I know I'm getting a compression break out here. So this is where I take the trade, as it breaks above the 15 with a compression break. And I ride this right up. These are Heiken Ashi candles. Notice the flat bottoms, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Now we're getting wicks and tails here. This is where I would be considering getting out. But you can see that the institutions are buying the heck out of this. This, by the way, I don't use this anymore. This was a confirmation bar. I switched that and I put the actual oscillator on there, like you saw on the other chart. But I'll show you that. But that's one. Now this is one from yesterday. This was a SPY Super System from yesterday. SPY Super System being used, the software being used to identify when I wanted to trade the indexes, trading one of the Qs. Now this is the Qs here. Yesterday was a very bearish day, if you remember, right? So if you see here the Qs, this was about 11:30 in the morning. You see the 15 EMA, the little red line there? This is the VWAP right here. We're below the VWAP. We have been all day, right? Notice we've got multi-time frame momentum here on the 5-minute chart, red. So the institutions are selling on multi-time frame, but notice they went to a little bit of buying here on current. So what I'm looking for is just to shift back to yellow, which it did right here. All right, so here's where it shifted back. And here's this 15 EMA right here. See how it broke below the 15 EMA? That is my support level or resistance level that I want to use. This is where the trade got in. Now you could trade this as long as the stock stayed below the 15. You can stay in this, right? You can stay in this trade all the way down, all the way down. You may decide to take some profits when it flattens out, or flattens out here. You could take profits, but as long as this stayed bearish like this, you could stay in this trade. And notice the selling just continued. Like I took this one yesterday, and it was right at lunchtime. I took it right here, and I get out right here when it flattened out here. I took my profits here. I wanted to eat, and I decided that I was starting to flatten out. I took profits, but if you're in these trades, you're going to manage them yourself. You have to learn this methodology. You use them yourself. But if you stayed in this thing, you had a really tremendous pull down in this thing, right? And this is just from yesterday. And this is on the SPY super system methodology, which we use to trade the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM. You can use the ES, you can use the SPX, any of those things. Which platform does the system run on? And do I get the indicators as well? Yeah, the system, the software, the SPY super system software runs on thinkorswim that I've got shown right here. And if you purchase the SPY super system software, then it's going to look exactly the same in mine. You're going to get it exactly the setup that I have with the scanners and everything. You'll have the whole thing to use. You can use it yourself to do the SPY super systems. If you don't buy the software, but you become a member of the room or the alert service, then you're going to be able to get into the room. And I have it up all day long. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, all day long. But if you have your own, of course, you can switch back to different stocks and look at them. You have thinkorswim already. That's fine if you have thinkorswim already. You don't have to buy thinkorswim. thinkorswim, anybody can download thinkorswim, but the SPY super system software would be installed by the Rightline technicians. They just take over your machine, plop it down, and it's going to look exactly like mine. Okay. Same indicator used twice. Don't know what you mean by that, Caesar. Same indicator used twice. All right. I don't know what that means, Caesar. The same indicator used twice. What part of the system reflects the momentum? The momentum, the dots? No, this is what shows your momentum. The momentum indicators are here. Right? This is a multi-time frame momentum. This is the current time frame momentum. On a 5-minute chart, this tells you you've got bearish momentum on the 5-minute chart. This tells you you've got bearish momentum on the 5, the 15, and the 45, and they're all moving down. And the lows on those candles are getting closer to the close on those candles are getting closer to the low in each one. Right? So that's what tells you. These are trend dots. I don't really use these trend dots that you see on here. I don't use them. I'm much more interested in the 15 EMA and the VWAP. This is all I really use. And I'll show you that again in just a minute. What does the scanner scan for? I have several scans. I have a scan that's what's called cascading up and cascading down on both the 5-minute and the daily. Those look for stocks that have got relative strength. If the market's moving down, then the cascading up scan is going to show you all the stocks that have relative strength to the market. Cascading down scans, if the market's moving up, it's going to show you all the stocks that have relative weakness to the market. Then I have another one. I have to keep the all-time highs out there, or the annual highs, and then I have scans in there for looking for these pop out of the box symbols, either bullish or bearish. It's called an RLT scan. So there's several different scans that you can use, and I use a lot of scans on TC2000 to identify stocks as well. Is this event recorded? Yeah. Yes, Anthony. This will be recorded. You'll get everybody who registered will get a recording of this. Probably, it's probably on Sunday or Monday. All right. So there you go. This is the old format with this, but this is this is a bullish trade. This is a bearish SPY super system methodology trade from yesterday off of the Qs, the triple Qs. Again, it was a very bearish day. Obviously, you can see that it's a very bearish day. You just got to select your entry points. All right, so I'm going to tell you about the SPY super system methodology trades. Again, we have regular intraday trades and we have swing trades. Right, the intraday trades can turn into swing trades. I can keep them. I can think I'm going to get into a trade and get out of it. Get in at 10 o'clock and get out at sometime in the afternoon. But I may keep it overnight. Those are intraday to swing trade trades. This is the SPY super system methodology for intraday trading on the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM, or the ES. Somebody asked about the ES, or the NQ, or the SPX. You can use it on any of those because the indicator is going to be the same. This is the results that I've had. Now remember, I don't post these. These are the results that I've had, but these are the ones I mentioned in the room. And I have other traders who have done these and made less, and done this and made more, made a lot more than me. But I started this in July. One of the reasons I did this was because I have a lot of people in the room who can only come in for a couple of hours in the morning, couple hours in the afternoon, and there's not a lot of, we may not have a lot of trades. We may just have a few trades. or none. I may go all day without trading, but there's usually quite a few SPY super system trades. So this gives people who want to trade a little bit more, but only take high probability trades, some options. All right, so this was July 16-0. Again, 2,000 invested in each trade. 25.96 when we started this. August, see how many trades? 56, 6, and 2. Remember, we didn't have a lot of trades in August. But look at how many SPY super system trades we had. 56, 6, and 2 produced 8,200. September, 43 and 2, 40 wins, 3 losses, 2 scratches, 71.32. October, 33 and 4, 4,800, dropped down a little bit. And it's important to understand with the SPY super system methodology, all right, trading the indexes, you're only going to have one trade on at a time, and they're going to be very short duration trades. You just have to watch that, right? You have to watch that on the charts and manage them yourself. This was November, 54 and 5, produced 93.70. December, 69 and 15, 10,450. Really, really good results in the SPY super system trades. I mean, these are really, really good. Now, it's important to understand that this SPY super system trades, the ones for the indexes, this is not included in the room totals. This is completely separate. So this was October. The SPY super system trades for the indexes was 33 and 4, again, produced 48.31. And the room itself, not counting these, because these are the intraday to swing trades, 17 and 3 produced 74.48. So these are not included in each total. Each total is separate. So that was October. That was November. 93.70 on the SPY super system, and 73.93 in the room. Again, these are my trades. I took these because I can't post these and I can't alert on these. So your wins, your profits are going to be different because I'm not posting these. I'm telling you about the trades. I'm telling you when I'm getting in and getting out, but it's very quick. They're very quick trades. Peter, so current and multi-time frame bars reflect momentum and institutional buying. Yeah, that's the idea is if you've got 3 time frames that have increasing momentum, in other words, the close on the 5-minute, the 15, and the 45-minute candle is getting closer to the top of each candle as we progress. Generally speaking, most of the time, and this is like probably 95, 96%, that type of price action is being created by institutions. Retail traders are not going to produce that kind of price action. And if on the daily chart, if you've got the 1-day, the 3-day, and the 9-day with momentum the same way, that's institutional buying. Okay, how many trades per day and per week? It does. I don't know, Dave. It depends on the market. It depends on the setups. On Thursday, I had 0 SPY super system trades. The day was just nothing but chop. We took a couple of small intraday trades, no swing trades at all. Yesterday, we just put on a trade, a swing trade on Abbott long. But some weeks we might have alerts. You might have 1 or 2. The market, and I'm going to show you a chart here in the market in a minute, because the market conditions dictate a lot about how many trades we can take. So I don't know how many there's going to be. All right, so again, this was November. SPY super system results here, 9,300, 7,300 here in the room. And this was December, 10,450. The win rate was lower, 69 and 15. But we had a good win rate, 83% here in the room for 45.97. So basically what it's saying is October and December, and this is just to make you understand that the SPY super system trades on the indexes are not included in any of the totals in the room that I was showing you. Each one of these is separate. So that's October, December, 24,651 and 17,774 in the room. So 42 grand, which was pretty good. But again, it depends on how you're managing these SPY super system trades and how much you're putting on them. I mean, I'm talking about 2,000 per trade. You know, some trades I only may take 1,000 because the day is choppy, and if it's a nice trending day, I might put 5,000 into one of them. It just depends. Okay, so here is the SPY super system. This is an older one. This was when I had this old confirmation down here. But what I'm trying to show you here on this chart is if you're looking for the SPY super system trades, just the indexes, trading the indexes. All you need is the current time frame momentum. This is the only indicator you're looking at right here to get into the trade. You're looking at that. You're looking at the VWAP right here. This is a support or resistance level, and this is the 15 EMA. That's a support or resistance level. That's all you need, right? So this is where we took a trade here on August 9th on the SPY Super System. You see how it's coming above the VWAP. You notice the current time frame, current momentum went from bearish red to bullish blue, and it broke right through the 15 in the VWAP right there. Took the trade right there and rode this thing up. As long as the stock stayed above the 15, I stayed in the trade, and here I start to get wicks and tails. I'm out right there. Getting pretty extended from the 15, so that was a nice profit, 220 contract. Most of your SPY Super System trades are not going to be like this unless you've got a really trending day. Most of them are going to produce somewhere between $70 and $120 a contract. All right, so if I'm doing 10 contracts, most of my average trades are going to run, $600 to $1,200 or so on 10 contracts. If I was doing 10 contracts, it just depends on how much the option cost. Right, so that's what you're looking at. Right, so this is a new template that I've got. If you buy the software, the SPY Super System software, you'll get two templates. You'll get the one that looks like this with this changed to the actual oscillator, or you can have this one. If you just want to trade SPY Super System type setups, this wouldn't be for swing trades. What you're getting is the current time frame momentum with the oscillator, the VWAP, the 15 EMA, and your pop out of the box symbols for compression. That's compression break. That's all you've got. See, and you can flip them back and forth. Okay. Let's see, Omar, you would only take $500 each. Is that possible? Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, because typically when you're trading options on the SPY or the Qs or the IWM, I'm usually taking one strike in the money. Those things are going to usually run maybe $1 to $1.50, $1.75, maybe $2 per contract. So you can probably buy anywhere from 2 to 5 contracts on something like that. Just with my entry and exit positions in the room, would not trade on my own as being room enough. Well, if you don't need the SPY Super System if you're in the room, because I'm going to be showing them. The thing is, I'm also looking at a lot of other charts. People that want to trade the SPY Super System on their own, they typically get the software so they can just keep watching what they want to watch. Because I'm switching back and forth between other stocks that we're trading that aren't SPY Super System trades. But yeah, you can, if you're in the room and you want to try them, I'm gonna point them out to you, and I'll tell you where I'm getting in. But you've got to be, you have to be responsible for your own entries and exits, because they're very, very quick trades. Do I ever just buy the stock? Yes, I do, John. Sometimes I will just buy stock. I don't do that on the SPY Super System. I'm always trading options. I mean, options give you leverage. That's the whole point of options. But I do stock sometimes if the option prices are just not conducive to taking the trade. They're too widespread or there's not enough volume in them, then I'll take the stock. Okay, so here's a few more SPY Super Systems. I just want to get through these quickly so you can see. I want you to see the setup here. Green across the board. This was an entry on the SPY right here. See, we get into it right at the 15 as it broke compression. Get into it here, rode it up right to here, stayed above the 15, $130 a contract price profit. And some people might have got out of it here as it came down, or right here. I stayed into right here. Right, here's the IWM. And again, these are going to look the same. I just want you to be able to see that we go from yellow selling to blue buying, and the stock breaks above the 15 EMA right here. So I take the trade right here, and it moves pretty. This is pretty flat. I'm just in the trade as long as the stock stays above the 15, which it did. Went down and touched it, went down and touched it. But as long as it closes above the 15, I stay in the trade, and I get out up here, $90 profit per contract right there. Notice it stayed green the whole way here. Institutions buying the whole way across. Omar, will we buy 0 DT contracts in the room? Let me explain the contracts I take. I'm going to take 0 DTE on the SPY Super System stocks up until about 12:30, 1 o'clock, up until lunchtime. Because I'm in and out of the trade pretty quickly. After lunchtime, I switch to 1 DTE. I switch to the next day's expiration, because if the stock starts to move sideways or goes against me a little bit, I want to minimize the amount of time decay I'm going to take on those options. So after about 1 o'clock, I switch to 1 DTE or to the next days. Right. So here again, SPY Super System. Here we just talked about the IWM. Here's another IWM short. You can see the red. You see the institution selling. on the current time frame momentum. You take it right here as it breaks down below the VWAP. You take it right here and you just write it down. Now, once it continues down and it gets below the 15, you switch from the VWAP being your stop to the 15 being your stop. One of the whole ideas of this is if you get into a trade right at the VWAP or right at the 15 and the stock bounces back above the 15 of the VWAP, that's where you're going to get out. You're going to take a loss. And if you're in it really close to the VWAP of the 15, your loss is going to be small. You're not going to take a big loss on these things, generally speaking, unless it's a big flush candle, because your entrance is so good. You're entering right at the support or resistance levels. Right, so this was $120 profit on this one. Didn't come down very fast, just kind of, IWM is not a really fast moving index. But again, you notice it stays red. We get out here, then it switches back to blue, so you don't want to be in there anymore. That's another nice SPY super system trade here. As it broke below the VWAP, comes down with a big candle, moves sideways, stays below the 15, continues to stay below the 15, and then it flushes right down. This white line is a pivot point that comes the SPY super system puts on the chart. It is exactly what it is. It's a pivot point. It can be support in this case, which is why I had to be very cognizant of what was going on this level. But it didn't bounce up, so I stayed in the trade and get out right there. That was a big trade, $280 a contract. I was in it for quite a while. That's a couple of hours. That's a long trade. Here's another one off the 15 right here. Again, blue went from red to blue. Buying, just stay in the trade. It just moves slowly up here. Then it gets extended, and here comes a red candle. I'm out. Okay, here's some I didn't post what I did on it, where I get in or out, just so you can see it yourself. You can see here we go red selling, blue buying. See the stock came right up here to the VWAP. Do I take it here? I do not. I came through the 15, but the VWAP is a resistance level. I stay out of it until here. Here's where I take the trade. As the stock price breaks above the VWAP and it's blue, and I've got a pop out of the box symbol, this would be my entry, this would be my exit, right there. 4 or 5 candles. This is a fairly common scenario that you get with the SPY super system. IWM, this was a pretty nice one you can see here. Again, it's green across the board. We have a couple of yellows in here, but they didn't really last long. But anywhere off of what you're looking to take this is, you don't want to take it up here. You see, you're away from the 15. You don't want to chase it up here. It comes back along the 15. Here's where you want to get into it. It breaks above the 15 with a pop out of the box symbol. Everything's green. This is where you stay in it. As long as it stays above the 15, you can stay in the trade. Not a big, huge trade here. Probably maybe $70, $80, $90 a contract profit on something like that. This was when I traded long and short. I traded the SPY right here to the short side. Notice the red. Took it here as it broke below the VWAP with a pop out of the box symbol. 3 candles, I'm out right here on this reversal. And then it pops up above the VWAP right here, and then above the 15 right there, and I go to blue. Institutions went from selling to buying on the 5-minute. Then I go ahead and enter right here, and I take this and I write it right up toward this pivot point and get out. So this one I traded short and long. All right, and again, just kind of watch. You can see the multi-time frame is flipping back and forth. Don't have a lot of consensus in that, but this is what you're using right here. All right, why would I exit on the IWM 5-minute chart in the previous slide with a red Heiken Ashi, although the confirmation was green? Well, this was on the IWM. Let's look at the IWM. See which one you're talking about. Is that the one you're talking about, Deepak? Okay, no need. Okay, cool. I will show you the SPX, but these aren't live charts here. I have to switch over to at the end, I'll switch over to the SPY Super System live software, and I'll show it to you in there. Okay, so here's another one. Again, this was I took long and short. Just talked about that. This was another one. This is I just want you to see what the indicators are doing here. You can see they're selling, they're buying, they're buying right here, blue, green. Then they go to short. And notice this is chopping around here, but in this particular case, where would I take this trade? I would take it right here. It's coming down below the 15 with a pop out of the box symbol. I've got yellow here, so when the selling is beginning, I take it here, and I ride it, and I stay in it as long as the price stays below the 15, which is sloping down. So I just stay in it, and right here, I'm out of this trade. right here at this point. I don't wait for this to turn back to blue or green. I'm getting out based on this candle right there. Because I got profit. I mean, I'm locking in profits. Okay, so those are the SPY super system trades for the institutions, institutional stuff, doing the Qs of IW over the SPY. I'm going to show you some recent trades of high probability setups that we use in the room. These are not these are more intraday and swing type trades. Okay. Okay. During the 2-week trial, can I be on Discord? You know, I'm not sure about that, Omar. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to ask Rory about that. I'm not sure if the Discord comes with everything else, but I'm not sure about the trial. I kind of doubt it. All right. Now this is one thing I wanted to show. I put this in here just before the thing started, the webinar started. I wanted to show you, this is a SPY daily chart. This is off my TC2000 chart because it's easy to watch here. And what I told you before is that the market itself is very important in trading. How you trade is going to be dependent on what the market is doing. You've got to be able to find some trends to follow. And this was a decent trend earlier on here. Okay, this was back back in December. But this was when the Fed decided they weren't going to cut rates for a while. The inflation was starting to go back up again. This is the price action we've had since this is a middle of December. This is the price action since the middle of December. These are daily candlesticks. Right now, I want you to see here. When you look at something, can you find any trend in here? Can you find anything to trade trend-wise? This was why trading right in the last 2 months has been as difficult as it possibly can be. Taking swing trades is just very difficult. So you push down here, the bears got in here, everybody dumped in thinking the market was going to keep on going down to the blue line, which is the 100-day moving average. It bounced right back up. Once they get back through these indicators right here, the 50, 15, and the 8, and approach to the top of this candle, the bulls might bump back in, thinking that it was going to go back up to and make a new all-time high. What did it do? It flushed down, and you notice this is a gap down, gap down. It just flushed everybody right out, came back down again, and everybody got bearish again. And then it bounced back up, and it came down with this big, huge engulfing candle right here. So this is the price action that we've had for the last 2 months. Kept down to the 100. People probably got in off this 100 thinking we're going to get a bounce. It gapped down the next morning, back bounced up again, and look at this, gap up, gap up, gap up, gap up. Everybody's jumping under the market that we're going to go long, the thing's going to take off. Huge gap down, flushing everybody out, killing everybody's swing trades. And then we started to march higher again, getting the bulls excited again, boom, gap down. So this is the kind of price action that we've had. And it's been on not very big volume. And this was the Friday candle. This was a horror show of a candle right here. All right, it looked like we were going long. This was a new all-time high right here on the top of this candle. And look at this flush down on Friday, right to the 50-day moving average, this red line. So I want you to understand the context of the market that we're in and why the number of trades we take right now is so small, and why I can't really put out a lot of alerts. I mean, I put out some. I put out one. We took profits at Apple. We took profits that we got Abbott on there. We've taken profits. The alert services has had 6-0 this month, 6-0 and 7-0. It's been pretty good, but we haven't had a lot of trades. But this is the problem, and it's important to understand that. Okay, so this was a trade we took in HIMS back on the 7th of February. I took it right here. Notice the green candles on the daily chart. This is a daily chart. We took it right here. I got out 25% profit, and I left a runner on. I actually left a runner on my stake, and some of the people in the room left the runner on. But we got 25% profit, and if you kept the runner on, we caught this move here, and it was up 269%. Very unusual, and for me it was lucky, but still a nice trade. This was a nice trade. This was Palantir. We took Palantir here, 31% profit in 2 days in Palantir. See, we went from selling to buying on the current time frame momentum. Everything's green. We took it right here, and up it went. That was back in 10.8. This was 10.2. This is Twilio. Again, same thing. As the current time frame is green, the multi-time frame turns green. We buy it here, and we ride it up here just for a couple days. 58% profit. That was a debit spread. Okay, Lulu here, gap down. All right, so these are what we look for. This is a daily chart here. Again, Lulu came in. I took the trade here. after earnings, gap down here. Notice everything was red or yellow. Took it short, in for 192, out for $3 overnight. Right, and another one, MDT. So you can see the indicators, how they're telling us whether the institutions are in there or not. Vertex, another good one, right, popped up 30% in 3 days. Nice trade right there. Again, this was on McDonald's. We get in here, in at 8:30, out at 11:30, green across the board. Institutions buying the heck out of it. It also was coming out of this shaded area, which is a dynamic compression zone that the software puts on. This is the 5-minute chart. This is trading intraday on Amazon. Stock came across the 15, it was yellow, then it went green, took it here as we get a pop out of the box symbol, took it right here and wrote it up for 32%, 45 minutes in Amazon. ENPH, another 20% profit in an hour. Nice little trade. Again, you can see it coming off the 15 right here with a gap, with a pop out of the box below the VWAP, below the 15, all red. You can see right here when you looked at the chart that they were selling. So you felt pretty comfortable going short this thing. This was Verizon. This was a short in Verizon for 50% in an hour. I broke down below the VWAP with a pop out of the box. Everything's red. I remember this when we took the contracts, $45 a contract, and we get out an hour later for $67 a contract. So $450 for 10 contracts turned into $670. Pretty nice trade. Tesla, we took this overnight, but you can see this is how we use the system. It was red and yellow. I had a pop out of the box right at the end of the day. It was below the VWAP on the 5-minute chart. I do not use the VWAP on the daily chart. So we took it overnight as a potential short, and it gapped down from 120 to 112. Nice profits there. All right, so that kind of wraps up the presentation. I'm going to go through the offers here. Again, we showed this earlier. These are the particular strategies we use. The SPY Super System is in the room, or if you have the software, you can do this. These are quick trades off of a 5-minute chart, and that's the one that produced pretty good results. Okay. Let's see. Omar, after losing money, you no longer have the confidence to take trades. I need entry and exit alerts with precise details. If I continue like this, I will end up burning my savings. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know that you want to, and I don't know how you want to trade. If you're day trading, if you're trading like the SPY Super System, you have to be able to day trade, which means you either have to have 25,000 or more in your account, or you have to have a cash account, because you got to take a lot more than 5 trades in 3 trades in 5 days, which is what you're limited to. So if I were you, I would focus on just taking the swing type trades we take, which will have precise entries and exits, exact prices. Okay. Yep. Can I show you the SPX 5 and 15 as 5? Yeah, I'll do that in just a minute. Feedback. Let me get. I would want to give you an offer, because listen, this is really a good offer. This is for the option room and the text alert service. These, both of them. They used to have these separated. These are both come together now. All right. So with you can get a 2-week free trial if you take this, and you get the room and you get the alert service. Yeah, you don't get the Discord in here. You get the alert service. You get the room. You get to look at my videos on how to trade these things. I'm not sure 2 weeks will give you enough time, but again, cancel anytime within 2 weeks. If you don't cancel, it's going to roll over to a quarterly subscription, $396 for 3 months. Really inexpensive, because that's for the room and the alert service. Now, if you want an annual access, you can get the room, the alert service, the Discord, and my videos for $11.96 for a year. That's what most people do. Some people actually do this one-time payment, which is you get the room and the alert service forever, and you don't have to renew. But those are the options you've got. And again, this includes the trading room and the alert service, not the software. This is the software. The software right here, the SPY Super System. This is the actual software that gets installed on Thinkorswim. This is the 50% off. That's the Compass trading system. It used to be called the Compass, but it includes all the scanners. It includes the master classes of what's the videos that I've done. You do get installation from Brightline. They'll just take over your machine. They'll pop it right on your Thinkorswim platform. It's going to look exactly the same as mine. You get 1 month in the options live trading room and 1 month of the alert service. Okay, $14.98 for a year for that software. Or you can buy it forever. This is a lifetime, $19.98, $500 more. You get it for the forever, and you'll get updates. Any kind of changes we make to it, you'll get all of those. Any new scanners we add, you get all of those. And again, it's the same thing. It'll be installed, but you'll get 3 months in the room and 3 months on the alert service, and that's $19.98. So those are the two offers for the alert service in the room, and this is for the software, SPY Super System software. Omar, okay, get it. Is the underlying software the same as the MFT? It's looking at the same information, Chris. The money flow tracker is looking at the same information. It looks different. It's displayed differently. They use some money flow stuff that I don't use in Thinkorswim, and they're typically trading off a much faster time frames. You know, again, they're using range things, etc., and trading futures. I'm trading options on stocks. Ninja is not a good place to trade options on stocks, but Ninja is a great place to trade futures because the commissions are so low. But the information is basically the same. I mean, you can't duplicate it exactly because Ninja and Thinkorswim are different. I mean, the way that you're setting up your indicators on there are going to be different, but the concept is the same. All right, so we again, if you have any questions, just pop them into the question box. If you go to the chat box, by the way, if you're interested in the software and/or the room, then you can just click on the links right there, and that will get you to the links to go ahead and purchase that. Or you can call Rory. You can call Rory and talk to him about the specials. The specials end Sunday. These are pretty good. But let me go ahead and bring up the compass system here again. Okay, and here's this is a daily chart. We want to switch over to a 5-minute chart. And this will be Friday. Here's TSN. All right, so Omar, you want to take a look at the SPX? Let me see SPX. I've not popped it in here, but let's look what it looks like. All right, so here's the SPX on Friday. I just keep going back. It's gonna look a lot like the SPY. But you see, you know, if you were trading it, there's a lot of opportunities for these breakdowns below the 15 EMA right here. See, this SPX trade would have been a huge SPX trade as it comes down. What else did you want? ES maybe? And they want the 15-minute. Yeah, I don't use it on the 15-minute. I don't even know if the indicators come out on the 15-minute, to tell you the truth. Yeah, the current time frame does come out. You can use it for the 15. It's not going to show these on the 15. Too much calculation to do all that for all the time frames. But it does work on the 1 minute, and it does work on the 5-minute, and the 15 will give you all you need because you're only looking at the current time frame momentum, which is what you want to know. All right, so there's the 5. And again, if you wanted to do futures, you can use futures exactly the same way. Here's the ES on the 5-minute time frame. The market's closed here, so there we go. This is it from Friday on the ES. This is the futures on the SPY. The current time frame LIQUIDITY for the SPY Super System, same as the current bar on the money flow tracker. I think so, Chris. Again, I'm not an expert on Ninja or the money flow tracker. I typically been using the Thinkorswim platform for this SPY Super System. I'm just more comfortable with it. I like the color description. It's not as so quick to trade as some of the futures trades are over there. So I like this one. But I think it's the same. Again, you really need to check with them to find out for sure. All right. So that kind of wraps it up. Again, we spent quite a lot of time on here. I'm sorry if it was too long. Can the compression break indicator be added to the MFT? I seriously doubt that, Chris, but I don't know for sure. Omar, Friday you lost money on the SPX with 0 DTE. Yeah, well, I don't know again where you traded it. And SPX is a very risky. SPX is expensive relative to the SPY. You know, if you were trading SPY options, or probably even ES, it wouldn't be so risky. You know, if you've lost confidence, I recommend that you switch to obviously something with less risk than the SPX, and try to just snatch off small profits on these setups. These setups are going to be very good, but again, you have losses in these things. In fact, in February, the SPY super system has been tough because a lot of days we haven't had a lot of good setup trades. I mean, we're up money, but I'm not up anything like 10,000, and I made in December and January it was about 9,000. This month I'm only up about 4, and that's really small for this many trades, because there's been a lot of $30 profits, you know, $30 a contract, $40 a contract, lose $10 a contract, make $40 a contract. A lot of that choppiness. You're not getting those big, huge runs because the market, as I just showed you on that other chart, is not conducive to it. Link to join, Cesar, it should just in the chat box. Click the chat box. There'll be a link right there for either the room or the software, or both. And if you have questions, you can just call Rory at 786-732-4656. He'll get back to you pretty quickly if you have questions on that. That's that number that I showed right here. 786-732-4656. All right, everybody. So listen, I want to thank everybody for coming in today. I know it was kind of long. I tried to cover all the questions I could. I tried to be detailed about this. I want people to understand what we're offering here and how effective this is. And I try to be very transparent about the wins and losses. This is a system that I think even newbies can make money on if they stick to it. But I like to be transparent about trading is not easy. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to win every trade. You're not. And I told you what your percentage gains is going to be. Don't be expecting 300 or 400% a trade. So that's where we are. Again, I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing some folks in the room come Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see everybody on Monday.